We all can agree that safety is a full-time job, but don't make it a part-time practice. Distinguished delegates, eminent speakers, experts from the industry, fellow ICATians, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all of you. I, Astha Divedi, on the behalf of International Center for Automotive Technology and Aspire Management, extend a very warm welcome to all of you to joining in the webinar on regulations on reflective sheeting and its effect on quality of road safety products. International Center for Automotive Technology ICAT, located in Northern Automotive Hub of India, is a leading world-class automotive testing, certification and R&D service provider under the aegis of NATREB, Government of India. Aspire is a technology platform. Aspire stands for Automotive Solutions Portal for Industry, Research and Education. Aspire has taken an initiative of conducting the webinars on various topics, which is a part of celebration of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, which is 75th anniversary of our independence, of aiming to reinforce the Atmanirbhar Bharat in technology area. It is our privilege to have you all with us today on this webinar. So this webinar, we have set a virtual stage to acquaint ourselves and with emerging traffic safety products and its trends. Now, I would like to invite Srimati Pamela Tikku, Senior General Manager and CBO ICAT, to give welcome address. Please join me to welcome Srimati Pamela Tikku.
Thank you, Astha. Thank you so much. Distinguished speakers, colleagues and from the automotive industry, traffic safety industry, ICATians, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to all of you. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you on this webinar on regulations on reflective sheeting and its effect on quality of road safety products. Conventionally, we used to organize physical seminars and conferences, so that would give us an opportunity to interact with all the experts and stakeholders in person and share our experiences in person. But due to COVID-19, virtual connectivity has become the norm of the day, and we have been trying to bridge the gap which the physical presence had brought in through the virtual connects. So we are having series of webinars. So today's webinar is on the theme which is very pertinent and for the India and for the Indian population, for road users, as to the regulations on reflective sheetings and its effect on quality of road safety products. We are aware that in the financial year 2020, the length of road construction across India was about 24 kilometers a day. And this has now gone up to being ramped up to 28 kilometers a day. So we have consecutively, continuously increasing the construction of roads. So while it is good for the Indian economy and the development of the country, but it also throws the challenges any technology brings it with itself. So with the improved infrastructure of roads of good quality and road construction improvement, the perils of road safety, the impact on road safety gets enhanced, because good roads lead to good thrill of driving at higher speeds, and hence it leads to higher rates of accidents. So today's topic is very pertinent to address this particular issue, which is not only geopolitical but also social, as to what is the how this particular industry can play a very important role in enhancing the safety of road users, safety of pedestrians, and safety of operation, and at the end of the day, safety of the infrastructure that the government is creating. So most of these products, such as signage boards, traffic cones, delineators, high security registration plates, etc., use reflective sheeting. And reflective sheeting is one of the leading traffic safety solutions. It's a very simple, very cost-effective traffic safety solution, and hence it can enhance the traffic safety and road safety multifold. As the high reflectance of the reflective sheeting helps in increasing the visibility of these safety products on road during night and bad weather conditions, the importance of photometry testing, environmental testing, mechanical testing, and durability testing are of prime importance for validation and sustenance of these products. So even if, as I said, if the infrastructure is created well, if it is accompanied with a good quality and right standard product, it really gives the benefits to the industry. So we have a testing facility as per Ministry of Road Transport guidelines and standards, both for environmental testing, for mechanical testing, as well as for photometry testing. I would like to bring on board today in front of you that ICAT is well equipped with the facilities to conduct the tests and validate the product as per standards such as ASTM D4956, ASTM D4280, IRC 67, IRC 79, MORPH 804, and other relevant standards which are pertinent to this product. I hope that all the participants who are attending this webinar virtually today will be benefited by the experience that the speakers, our eminent speakers from 3M and Aurafold are going to bring on board during this webinar. And I'm sure there will be a lot of learnings which this seminar will bring out for the participants. I wish this webinar a very great success. And I once again thank all the speakers, all the participants, and ICAT team under the leadership of Dr. Madhusudan Joshi for organizing this webinar today. Once again, thank you all and wish you a very successful seminar. Thank you and Jai Hind. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now, for today's session, we have following speaker, Mr. Sahil Patla, Assistant Manager, Photometry Lab, ICAT, Mr. Swatantra Kumar, Regulatory Affairs Manager, 3M India Limited, Mr. Amarendra Singh, Regional Sales Manager, Aurafold India Private Limited. Now, moving towards our first presentation, I would like to invite Mr. Sahil Patla, Assistant Manager, Photometry Lab, ICAT. We welcome you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sahil Patla. Today, I would like to discuss about Photometry Lab at ICAT. Photometry Lab in ICAT is a state-of-art facility which is NABL and BIS accredited. ICAT Photometry Lab has complete capability for testing of automotive lamps like headlamp assemblies, gear combination lamps, direction indicator, etc., and non-automotive components such as retroreflective sheeting, raised pavement marker, traffic cones, delineator, flexual medium marker, etc. ICAT Photometry Lab has full photometric range Type A goniometer, Type C goniometer, spectroradiometer for measurement of LED characteristics, illumination G65 setup for daytime color, luminance factor, etc. So, in today's presentation, I would like to discuss mainly on traffic safety products. So, the first one is reflective sheet. The standard for this is ASTM D4956. The applicable tests for this standard are coefficient of retroreflection, daytime color, weathering, shrinkage, flexibility, etc. The second product is raised pavement marker, RPM, which is of two types, reflective type and solar powered. The standard for this is ASTM D4280, and the applicable tests are retroreflective effectiveness, compressive strength, color, lens impact strength, temperature cycle, etc. The third one is flexible media marker and delineator. The reference standard for this product is IRC 79, and the various tests for this as per this standard are dimension test, measurement of reflectivity, powder coating thickness, etc. The next product is traffic cones and spring posts. The reference standard for this component is EN 13422, and there are different tests applicable as per this standard are coefficient of reflection, low temperature, impact resistance, addition of retroreflective surface, bending test, fatigue test, etc. So we are also capable for testing of rear marking plate and retroreflective markings, which are as per standard AS89 and AS90. The main tests applicable for this standard are dimension test, coefficient of retroreflection, color test, environmental test, resistance to weathering, resistance to corrosion, resistance to fuel, etc. And also we are capable of testing the high security registration plate lamp, which is as per standard AS159. The various tests applicable as per this standard are dimension test, coefficient of reflection, color test, resistance to weathering, resistance to corrosion, resistance to water, etc. So we have executed different projects in ICAT, mainly for, if I talk about road safety products, the various projects we have executed till date are rebound ability test as per ASTM D256, tensile test as per ASTM D638, low temperature impact resistance test as per EN 13422, compression test as per ASTM D4280, and we have also stimulated drain condition at different nozzle angles as per the customer request. This particular test is named as corrosion resistance test as per standard D610 and ASTM D71402. So we have different capabilities in ICAT Center 1. The main capabilities for photometry lab are integrating sphere, profile projector. These are used for the testing of automotive lamps, and type C goniometer for general lighting testing. We also have a setup of transmission and diffusion and spectroradiometer for daytime color, for D65 for red content and UV radiation. We have a full facility of type A goniometer at 30 meter and 30-meter lab, and we can test as per different automotive Indian standards and European standards for headlamp assembly, rear combination lamp, and all the automotive lighting and light signaling devices. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now we will start with our second presentation. Mr. Swatantra Kumar, he joined 3M India Limited as Regulatory Affairs Manager in April 2017. 3M India is an Indian subsidiary of 3M Corporation USA, a 120-year-old company with various technology platforms and products related to road safety. He is also an active member in professional civil engineering societies like Indian Roads Congress IRC, Indian Geotechnical Society IGS, Indian Society for Rock Mechanics and Tunneling Technology ISR MTT, Indian Society of Engineering Geology ISEG, Indian Building Congress IBC, and Indian Concrete Institute ICI. So please join me to welcome Mr. Swatantra Kumar. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much. I'll just share my screen. So just wanted to confirm if my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. The screen is visible.
Okay, thank you.
So
very good afternoon to all of you, and I must thank to ICAT for giving such opportunities to talk about the topic which is very pertinent to today's scenarios, that regulations on retroreflective and its effectiveness on road safety signages and road furniture. So I'll just start my presentation with a brief introduction of the company 3M. So 3M is having subsidiaries in 70 countries, and we are operating in 200 countries across the globe. So our entire business are categorized in 4 different business groups, and we are close to 96,000 global citizens living a passion for applying science to life. So research and development is one of the our heartbeat, I would say. We continue to increase R&D investment, and we invest close to 5% of our entire sales back to the research and development. So our scientists secured patent at an average of 3,000 per year. So which you can see here that the 3M has already acquired more than 1,26,000 patents so far. If I talk about our presence in India, so we have completed almost 3 decades in India with present turnover of 3,000 plus crores. And our headquarters is there in Bangalore and having 6 branch offices in all major cities of the country. So this map shows about our presence in different regional locations, and close to 1,500 people are working in this organization. So now coming to the important manuals, regulations which I talk about. So reflectivity is the one of the important key points today we are going to talk here. So as per the IRC, you all know Indian Roads Congress is an organization who are into the making of the manuals and specifications for signages, road furnitures and markings. So basis of the products, IRC has classified a few important manuals. So here it is Morse specifications. We also called it as an orange book. Then IRC 67, which talks about road signs. Then road marking is IRC 35 and IRC 79 for road delineator. Then coming to the work zone, SP 55 and SP 85. So these are the important manuals where reflective sheetings are very important and critical basis on the products. So IRC has also classified their specifications, regulations on the basis of different type of road scenarios. So they have different road scenarios like 2-lane roads, 4-lane low roads, 6-lane roads, expressway. So they have suggested in those manuals that what kind of reflective sheetings will be useful in different type of scenarios of the roads. Like where there is a high speed expressway, so we need a highest grade of sheeting. So if it is a low speed like 30 kilometers per hour like PMGSY roads and all, so that highest brightness reflectivity is not needed. So basis of the different kind of road scenarios, IRC has classified the reflective sheetings. Apart from that, IRC is also talking about few other important manuals, which is given here, like Ministry of Road Development specification, rural development specifications, then road safety audit, then low cost traffic management in urban areas, and pedestrian walkway, so and so on. So these are the important manuals where reflectivities and regulations are very much important. So now just how you see this next slide, how reflectivity guides us. So here, this is one of the scenarios. It's a daytime picture. So you can see here it's a road which is bending, and on the edge of this road you'll find that this is the kind of crash barrier, and on the top of it that reflective signs, chevron signs are mounted, and on the below on the road you'll find that markings are given. So it is the daytime scenarios, but just imagine if there is no reflectivity media on the wall, so there is a very high possibility during the night time that vehicle can go and hit to this crash barrier, or it is not visible. So just see in the next slide how this markings or signages guiding any of the road users safely, and they are maneuvering properly on the bend of the road, curvature of the road. So now a little bit understand about what is the science of retroreflection. So that is very important to understand, because the entire sheetings is based on this concept. So so here there are 3 different type of reflections. So the first one is diffuse reflections. Another is we call it a mirror reflection. And the third one is the retroreflection. So just understand what is diffuse reflection. If light is put on any surface, like maybe it's a wood or a floor, it scatters in different directions and not returning back to the same direction. So we call it a diffuse reflection. Second one is mirror reflection. So what happens in a mirror? In case of mirror reflection, when we put any light which is incident light on the mirror surface, it bends exactly on the opposite angle from the normal plane. So it is again not returning back to the eye of the driver. But what happens in case of retroreflection? So in case of retroreflection, when incident light beams are putting on the retroreflective surface, which could be made of either glass beads. There are several technologies, either glass beads or a cube corners, prismatic prism made of the prisms. So it bends light back to the same direction from where light is coming. So here in this diagram, on the extreme right diagram, you can see the light is bending by towards the source of the light. So as a result, we can see the brightness and reflectivity of the surface. So now two important parameters here to understand. We already understood what is the signs of the reflection. Now, if we see the IRC 67, IRC 67 is the parent document for the sheeting. So it is talking about two different type of angles. So one is observation angle and another is entrance angle, right? So what is observation angle? So observation angle is the angle which is basically formed between the headlight of the vehicle hitting to the signboards and returning back to the eyes of the driver. So there is a formation of angle is being made. So that is called observation angle. In case of entrance angle, what happens? So it is the formation of angle between headlight of the vehicles and the reference axis, that is which is the perpendicular to the reflective surface. So you can see in the extreme right side of top diagram. So it is this two values keeps on changing. It's a very dynamic in nature because it again depends on the at what distance our vehicles are traveling and which locations it is there. So it is on the bending or road is turning. So it depends on several parameters. So IRC 67 talks about the different on how the different type of reflective sheetings performs with the different observation angle and entrance angle. Right. So as per IRC 67 2012, so entire reflective sheetings are classified in different types, right? So it starts from type 1 to type 11. So type 1 is basically a glass beads. So type 1, type 2, type 3. And these three reflective sheetings are made of the glass beads technology. And the remaining part is a prismatic technology. So the lower the number, so reflectivity is also less. Higher the type of sheeting is higher reflectivity. So this is how it is being classified. Now I'll show. And now question arises, there are several type of sheetings available. So which type of road, what type of reflective sheetings to be used, right? So IRC has again classified the reflective sheetings on different category of the roads. So here you can see the expressway, the extreme right table is the expressway. So here expressway where the speed is high, very high speed, it's close to 120 kilometer per hour. So we need more brighter signs over there. So IRC suggests that if it is expressway, so we have to have a class C sheeting. So that is type 8, 9 and 11. But we don't need that brighter sign on the rural roads areas. So where speed is less. So you can see in the third column here. So in rural roads, we don't need type 11 reflective sheeting. So type 1 to type 4 is quite sufficient for the rural roads. So this is how it is being classified and so on. You can see this table here. So now another thing is like once the signboards are being installed on the site, so how you can identify. So there are few patterns depend on the different manufacturers. So if I talk about 3M, so you can see here in the center one, it's a type 4. You can see there is a bright and dark band of white lines. So this is the kind of indicator that it is a type 4 reflective sheetings. And when there is a no band, it's a clean sheets where only honeycombing kind of structures you'll find. So it's a type 11. So it is just a basis of the actual visibility from the eye. But to identify it properly, you need to use some equipment. So that equipment call it a retroreflectometer. Basis of that, one can identify and see the value. Now, another important aspects come the quality assurance, how you can assure the quality, because you know all the reflective sheetings has very long life. So it depends on the what type of reflective sheeting. It starts with the 7 years till it goes to the 10 years. So if it's a type 11, it goes for the 10 years warranty. And if type 1 to type 4, it's a 7 years warranty. So these are the few important things we need to assure while any of the sheetings are being used. So when the signboards are being made, so we need to ensure that a test certificate should be there as per the IRC 67. There is a clause given, so we'll come to that. And apart from that, it's very important that there are few important tests where lots of Indian laboratory, ICAT is one of the organization who do such kind of tests. So every manufacturers should provide the different test parameters, which is important to ascertain the life of that product. So like adhesive properties, shrinkage and flexibility, fungus resistance, impact, day and night color luminance, and the coefficient of retroreflection, and 3-year outdoor weathering. So these are the important parameters need to have, and it is very clearly mentioned in IRC 67 clause also. So yeah, this is the extract I was talking about. So it is from clause number 6.7 of IRC 67 2012. So you can see here on the fourth line from the top. So it's talking about all the tests which I shown: shrinkage, flexibility, linear removal. And apart from that, it's very important that if any manufacturers who are coming to the country, so they should have an international test certificate, and within the certain time period, they have to have an Indian test certificate as well. So these are the few important test facilities. So you can say the outdoor weathering is one of the very critical tests, because all the reflective sheeting has to perform in a better way in every kind of situations. You know, India is a country where temperature goes up to 60-degree temperature, and it also goes into the minus temperature, minus 10 kind of temperature. So sheet has to perform in all the weathers. So that is very important to have a weather condition. So, but it takes some time. But you know, the other alternative method is kind of artificial weathering chamber. So again, I would say the organization like ICAT, they are having the artificial weathering chambers. So which in that particular chamber, we can simulate how the reflective sheetings are behaving in 3 years time frame, so we can replicate it into the in the 2000 hours itself. Now when you do the testing into the field, so it's important that equipment, how the equipment to be used. So we used a very handy handheld reflectometer. So there is a certain process. So first we need to do the calibration of the product and see if it is properly calibrated and matching to the value. Then we can go to the site and do the testing. So all the parameters which is given, we need to capture and report to and put into the report. So few important things to remember when you go to the site for doing the test. So we have to make sure that reflectometer should be fully charged, calibrated, and the surface which is being wanted to clean it, it should be proper washed through the water and very and clean through the lint-free clothes. And we need to have 3 readings in the different locations and take the mean of it, and it should be confirming as per the ASTM D4956. So these are the few important things. Do not take any test data from the area which is damaged or scratched. It will not give you the proper value. So these are the important parameters to be taken care. This is some of the pictures which you can see how the field testing can be conducted with the help of retroreflectometer at the site. Now coming to the road furniture part. So you can see in this picture, this is the photographs where you can see all the type of road furnitures. So start with the flexible beaded marker, delineator. Pamela ma'am already talked about most of the products at the start of her talk, that you can see all the product require the properties of retroreflection, right? So I'll go in the next slide about talk in a brief about the different products and their what is the regulations, government regulations for it. So they start with the first one, IRC 79. So IRC 79 is having few products. Start with the delineator. So A delineator is basically made of the metal. It's a mild steel with a proper polyester powder coating. On the top, the shape of this product is ellipsoidal and a circular design. So, and height is 800 to 900 mm from the ground level. And again, the most important part here, that it uses the type 11 reflective sheeting, which is the highest grade of reflective sheeting, and it has a alternative bands of black and white colors. So it also suggests about the spacing depends on the what is the curve of the place. Next, the similar product which usage the flexible type 11 reflective sheeting is called flexible median marker. So it also conforming to IRC 79. So it uses type 11 fluorescent color. So fluorescent color reflective sheetings again has a property like it is much brighter visible in the bad weather conditions, like when there is a fog or there is a raining happening. So it will be much brighter. So long distance visibility is very high in case of the flexible median marker. So it is basically used in the area where there is a challenge related to very narrow medians and lots of accidents happens. Now these are the few pictures you can see here. Next product is object marker. So object marker is again aluminum flexible prismatic. This reflective sheeting is very flexible in nature, and it is again conforming to IRC 79. So it uses type 6 sheeting type, and it has on the back it has a laminated with the aluminum foil. So good part of this product is it can be used in almost all kind of materials, like you can use on the concrete, you can use on the metal, you can use on the tree. So these are the this is the one of it is a self-adhesive product. So some of the application area could be kind of footpath, roundabouts, median cuts, high mast, lampposts. So these are the few critical locations where it can be very easily installed and safety can be improved. So these are the few applications picture. In urban city area, it can be used on a metro pillars also. And these are the some guard sections where it can be used. So these are the few places it can be used on a crash barrier if there is a hillside area. So in where there is a very sharp bend on the road, on the hill road, hairpin bend kind of places. So where that we can improve the visibility by using aluminum flexible prismatic. So these are the some applications are given here. So some good applications when a road is very close. Any hazard is very close to the carriageway. Here you can see this electric pole is just close to the road. This tree is very close to the road. So night time there is a high chance that tree is not visible. So we can put this reflective sheetings on it. So as a result, visibility can be improved. Another application could be put on an electric pole if it is a metal electric pole also. Another new technique of the reflective sheetings that is now available is called digital printing. So earlier challenge was with the printing that there was a vandalism of some letters from the sheeting, or there is a mismatch of the colors. So such kind of challenges were there. But now with the help of the new techniques, so we can print the entire thing on the reflective sheeting itself, and you can use any colors. So if we all know that pictures tells better than the words. So any photographs, if you wanted to print, it's very good for the tourism areas. So that can be printed in the reflective sheetings, and it is all conforming to the IRC standards for the daytime performance and the nighttime performance. These are the few installation picture from different locations. So this is a Kumbh, Allahabad Kumbh picture. You can see the colors, different colors can be used on the gantry. These are the few images. Now coming to the raised pavement marker. So it is again an important product which uses the science of reflectivity. So though in place of the sheeting, it uses the acrylic based material, and it is again a highly reflective, and it is used on the roads for improving the visibility of the traffic lanes. So it has a different color combinations, comes with the red, white, and yellow. And there is a few parameters, critical parameters, which is specified in the Ministry of Road Transport. Like the product should be conforming to the compressive strength of 13.6 tons. Then it should not use any metal nails Then reflective area should be conforming to 13 square centimeter, height and width are specified. And the coefficient of luminance is also specified for the category A white studs as 220 millicandela. So these are the few important parameters suggested. Another very important point here to understand where and which all locations the color combinations of RPMs are being used. So if it is used on the median, so we need to use close to the median, so we use yellow color. If it is in a traffic lane, we use white color. And if it is on a shoulder side, so we use red color. And the spacing is based on the type of road where we are using. Next important product, which again uses the same technology, reflectivity, is called, it has a both reflectivity, passive and active. So it has a reflective sheetings as well as the LED lamp inside. So it charges, it's a solar stud. It charges in the daytime with the sunlights and blinks in the night time. So these are the few important locations it can be used. So you can see the locations like exit point, curves, medians, bridges. So these are the few important locations. Another is a work zone area. So work zone is, you all know, where the construction going on and the traffic movements are there. So again, we need to have a different traffic control devices. So and two important things here to ascertain that the traffic control devices which are being used should be made of the plastic, because metal, if it is there, so it will be hazard to the vehicles. And it should use a different reflective sheeting. It uses the flexible reflective sheeting conforming to ASTM. So these are the few important parameters to understand. It's not the same reflective sheeting which uses on the signboards. So these are the few products which are used on the work zone area. Now we talked about the road related reflective sheetings and their regulations. Now vehicle safety is equally important. So I'll cover a few slides related to how we can improve the vehicle, because vehicle also keeps on moving on the road. So we'll talk about that. So here, this slide shows the different scenarios. We often see such kind of scene while we travel on the road in the winter season, especially in the northwest area where there is a severe fog and the visibility reduced to the 10 meters or so. So these are the challenges, if some vehicle are parked on the shoulder, so without lack of the visibility, one can hit from the back. On the third extreme right picture, you can see the tail light of the truck is not visible, but reflective sheetings, which is pasted, is visible on it. So this is there. So as per the government, Ministry of Road Transport, so there is a regulation came that we call it as AIS 90. So AIS 90 talks about the use of retroreflective sheetings, or we call it a conspicuity tape, in different type of vehicles. So it is used on a commercial load vehicle, passenger carrying vehicles, trailers, auto rickshaws and e-rickshaws. So now here you can see these are the few important regulations which came in the past. So I'll just start with the conspicuity first. So in 2008, the first regulation came related to the conspicuity for using these tapes on the trucks. But there was a challenge in that regulation. So challenge was like, it was talking about a vehicle which is older than 2009 can only use the conspicuity, but the vehicle which is manufactured before that, so it is not talking about to use conspicuity tape. So ministry realized after certain deliberations with them that conspicuity tape is equally important for the vehicle which is older. So in 2019, they have revised the circular and came with the new regulations in which they are talking about, irrespective of any date of manufacturing of the vehicle, the conspicuity tape should be used, which should be conforming to the AIS 090 standard. Second one, you can see in the middle one. So it is talking about the rear marking tapes. So it is again, this regulation came in 2014. So it talks about use of this in the long trailer vehicles and the trucks. So and the third one regulation came in 2019 related to the HSRP, high security registration plates. So these are the three important safety features, and the reflectivity sheetings are being suggested by the MORTH. So basis of the if you remember that there are two different widths of reflective sheetings are used in the vehicle. So one is 20 mm width of the reflective tape, and another is the 50 mm of reflective width of the tape. So the vehicle which is whose gross vehicle weight is more than 7.5 tons, so it uses 50 mm width, and which is less than 7.5 tons, it uses 20 mm width. Right. So these are the few pictures. Color combinations also advised as per AIS 90. So at the front of the truck, it suggests to use white. On the rear, it suggests to use red. On the side, it suggests to use yellow reflective tapes. So these are the few innovative ideas apart from the trucks. So it can be also used on the tractors, and new regulations which has come. So it is also talking about to use retroreflective tapes, conspicuity tape on three-wheelers, e-rickshaws also. But it's very important that some of the vulnerable road users like cyclists, motorbikers. So if this reflective tapes are being used on the bicycle or a helmet or a scooters or the two-wheelers, so their visibility will be drastically improved on the road, and the accidents can be avoided. Right, these are the few more pictures you can see here. So this is my last slide of the presentation deck. So this is one study happened in India and England. So in India, the study is talking about some of the low cost solutions. So low cost solution like improving in the signboards quality, road marking, delineators, studs, all those things. So by using all those things in one of the expressway, you all know Mumbai-Pune expressway. So by using this low cost road intervention, so they were able to reduce the casualty by 10 to 25%, and it uses the reflective sheetings and the reflective devices. Similar study has happened in the England. So it is also talking about there, they talked about the low cost products like marking signboards and RPMs. They were able to reduce the accident and casualty by 25 to 40%. So this is how I would like to conclude that the reflective sheetings are very important for saving life and improve the visibility in the night. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time, valuable time and presentation. I would request all the audience to, if you have any question regarding this presentation, just write them in the chat section. We will take that question on your behalf at the end of the session. Now, we will moving towards our next presentation. Mr. Amarendra Singh, he had worked with organizations like Delhi International Airport Limited, Godrej and Boyce Manufacturing Co. Limited, and 3M India Limited in the past. Currently working with Orifol India Private Limited as a regional sales manager of Eastern India, where he is working with roads giants like NHAI, SH, and PWD roads, helping in road survey for safety signage and road furniture. He has nearly 5 years of experience in marketing, business development, and marketing strategies for core business. So please join me to welcome Mr. Amarendra Singh. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to know if my slides are visible. Can somebody please confirm?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So very good afternoon, everybody. So I'll be taking care. I'll just take you through some technical aspects of the retroreflective sheeting and what measures we can usually implement to improve the same to its most effective and efficient way, where all the motorists, pedestrians can be benefited while traveling onto the roadways. So okay, so yeah, so as you know that while traveling at high speed, drivers are always expected to understand the messages we used to provide through traffic road signs, which provide drivers sufficient time to react. But in reality, these requirements are not always met. So in this particular program, we will be reviewing the current situation and trends, which will discuss in brief about the regulations of IRC and MOTH, basically the standards of traffic signs. Then we touch upon the science behind the retroreflectivity. And at last, we'll summarize with the key benefits and recommendations to improve the same. So, in a situation like today, road is much different from early days. Mobility is the key in today's society, and accordingly, increase in the vehicle population, kilometers traveled. There are, a large number of heavy truck traffic are now present in Indian roads, and there are pedestrian motorist traffic volume continues to rise. So, with changing mix of drivers, complexity is getting increased, and with such scenario, one should be prepared to safely handle the same. So this slide, gives the detail about the road accidents in India in 2019, and the source it has been sourced from MoRTH, Ministry of Road Transport, from the web portal. So you can easily see that the accident happened in 2019, where you can see major cases took place with two-wheelers, cars, taxis, vans, LMP, and trucks. So if I'll talk about the nighttime accidents and fatalities, this slide shows that the fatalities shared took place by time interval between 2015 to 2019, and it easily states that majority, 19.3% of total accidents recorded in night between the 6 to 9 hours, which clearly indicates that the evening times are the most dangerous times to be on the road. So what we will be doing here, so I will start with the basics of the road safety first. This slide basically shows the traffic signs are the most efficient and reliable communication between the road users and the road systems. That is the basic requirement. And road traffic signs are the often sole communication, sole means of communication between the road system and road users. As most of the reflected devices like traffic signs, barriers, traffic codes, delineators, road shades, median markers, they use all the reflectivity technology for early visibility. So in this slide, basically, you can see that there are two photographs, basically pasted here. One is the daylight, and the second one you can see from the nighttime visibility. So here you can see that in daylight, there are many, in daylight, basically, you can see that all the traffic signs are, typically visible. But when we are switching to the, nighttime, there are few signs which are barely visible. So it is very important that traffic signs which we are implementing on the traffic signs, that is of high quality, and that should give efficient visibility while implementing on the roadways. So if I'll talk about this particular slide, you can see that in daytime, in the left hand side of the picture, you can see that the daylight, there are many landmarks that can assist to identify the potential hazard. But while switching to the night time, you can see that those landmarks just disappear, resulting in no proper visibility of the potential hazards. So the thing is, if the good quality of traffic sheddings, reflective sheddings would be implemented on these traffic signboards, it would be proper visible in the night time. So sign always needs to be effective at night as well as during the day. But sometimes this requirement are not always met. So these are the, it referred Indian national standards from IRC and from the Ministry of Road Transport, Orangeburg, which actually guides you about the, guides you about the code of practices, guides you about the, guides you about the what kind of quality and what kind of signages and sheddings category to be used on the roadways. So we'll talk about the retroreflective shedding as per ISO 67. So one can, all the details about the traffic signs, one can refer the clause 6.7 of IRC 2012, which clearly states the type of quality and sheddings to be used and what are the criteria and specs you should go for. If I'll talk about the type of signboards presently, what we are having in IRC Ministry of Road Transport, there are three basically types of signboards: cautionary, which you must have seen in the triangular shape. The second one is the mandatory and regulatory, which is mostly in circular, and informative. The third one is the informatory and facility signboards, which you usually find in rectangular shape. There are classes of retroreflective shedding and uses, which is as per the ASTM-D 4956, and there are classes which is been segregated by Indian Road Congress as well. So if I'll talk about the classes of retrofitted shedding and uses as per the ASTM-D, there are type 1 to type 11 shedding category, and in classes from A to C categorized in IRC and MoRTH, and on which category of roads what shedding type should get used. If I'll talk about the IRC, there are class A, class B, and class C categorization has been done for type 1 to type 11 categories of shedding. So let's talk about, if I'll talk about what kind of, what type of sheddings basically falls under the class A, class B, and class C. So in class A, type 1 and type 2 category of sheddings basically falls. In class B, type 3 and type 4 basically falls. And in class C, there are type 8, type 9, and type 11, which basically comes under the class C category as per the IFC standards and north. So let's talk about how does reflectivity works. So when the borrowed light strikes an object and bounces from it, how bright it shines depend upon the reflectance of an object and intensity of the light striking. So this slide basically talks about what are the type of reflections. So there are basically three types of reflections, which is basically the mirror reflection, diffuse reflection, and reflection. If I'll talk about the mirror reflection, when the light strikes a smooth or glossy surface and it reflects on the surface at an equal but opposite angle to the source. So that is called the mirror reflection. If I talk about the diffuse reflection, what is it called? So when the light strikes rough surfaces and it scatters in all direction. So that is called the retroreflection. So if I talk about the retroreflection, when surface return a portion of the directed light to its source in a parallel direction, that is called as the retroreflection. So from here onwards, we'll talk more about the retroreflection technology, which will give you a brief idea that what kind of technology is basically we are actually implementing on our reflective sheddings and what we are using on our traffic signs these days. So there are basically three types of technology in retroreflective shedding. The first one is the enclosed and encapsulated glass bead shedding. The second one is the micro truncated cube corners, and the third one is the micro full cube corner prismatic shedding. So if I will talk more about the enclosed, this has actually limitations, and only 28% of the surface area will return light just right. Just rest 72% of the surface is basically of no use, and it actually is scattered. So if I talk about the micro truncated cube, so this also has limitations, and only 65% of the surface area is active. And while return light just right, rest is of no use and it is scattered. Light entering the cubes here only reflects twice and therefore not returned to the source. In the diagram as well, you can see that in glass bead, there are only one bounce which is happening. So that's the reason only 28% of surface area is getting reflected. Only 8% of the reflectivity, the source is getting from the incident light. So what is a micro full cube? This uses mirror reflection. And since there are no dead corners, it uses 3 bounce mirror reflection, and hence 100% of the surface is reflected. So on the first, photograph, you can see that this is depicts the cube corner reflection, and there is a 3 bounce happening as a mirror reflection, and and the incident light is getting reflected back in a parallel direction to the source. So this how this the whole full cube technology gives you 100% surface area in terms of the reflectivity, and it gives you back 100% of the incident light as well. So if I talk about the light return in cone pattern, so how does it happen? So basically, retroreflective light, when the incident light from the source strikes the object, I mean the retroreflective device object, it always returns in the cone back. Towards the direction of the light source, and this cone only helps in visibility of these areas on highways or roads. So, what are the observation and entrance angle? It actually plays a vital role while deciding upon the quality and the shooting category while implementing the signboards on the roadways. So, observation angle is basically created between the source light and the receptor. As you can see, it has been denominated by alpha. And entrance angle is created between source light and perpendicular to the sign position, that has been denominated by beta. So I'll talk in much detail in observation angle. So observation angle, it depends on the type of vehicle being driven. As we have sedans, SUV vans, light trucks, and large trucks, every vehicle has different observation angles depending on position of the driver. Hence, observation angle, as you can see in the diagram, there are 3 different type of vehicles we have just put. I mean, one is the truck, one is the sedan, and another is the SUV. So as you can see in the same position, from the road signs, all the vehicle has a different angle of observation. So the thing is, when the observation angle increases, sign will appear less bright. And this will increase every second as the driver approaches the sign. So if I'll talk more about entrance angle, in the same way, when the entrance angle is wider, the reflective performance will be reduced, and it depends upon various factors like sign offset, distance of vehicle to the sign and to the roadways. There are travel lane of vehicles, there are curvature of roads, and twist of sign on post, which plays a vital role in getting the entrance angle in terms of the reflectivity for that particular category of the shadings. So what are the available technology, how light return technology has improved these days? So if I talk about traffic signs, retroreflective properties plays the deciding role in the nighttime performance of the driver. Here the percentage of the amount of incident light received when striking on the surface. So if I'll show you engineering grade, I mean, this is based on the Glasby technology, which only gives you back approximately 8%, and that falls in the class A category of shippings. If I talk about the high intensity beaded returns, this is again a Glasby technology which only returns 14% of the reflectivity to the source, and that again falls into the class A category. The third one is the truncated prismatic grade shitting, which I was talking about, that it has only 65% of the reflective surface, and it returns only 30% to the source. So truncated prismatic grade shitting is all about 4 times more efficient than engineering grade, the Glasby technology, and twice as efficient as class B category. And the fourth one, which is the most efficient and most effective, full cube prismatic grade shading returns about 58% of the incident light, twice as efficient as truncated cube corner, which falls into class C category, and which has 100% of active area in terms of the reflective. So there are few angularity factors also to be considered when a vehicle is on the road, and if you are comparing the observation and international angle, interest angles while considering it with the signboards which is implemented on the road. So there are, where is the vehicle on the road basically, and what type of vehicle you are basically driving, what is the position of the reflective sign in relation to the roadway and to the vehicle. So these are the important angularity factors to be considered. So in this slides, you can easily see that there are few and various factors that basically determine the sign brightness. You will always have the roadway. I mean, there are many factors which determine the sign brightness, intensity observed by the driver, and must be considered when designing effective traffic signs. So on the left-hand side, you can see that there are various factors, that is roadway critical distances, speed background, sign size, roadway alignment, legend, sign criticality, the vehicle types, dimensions, headlamps, windshield, visual acuity, age, and blur level. These are the factors which you can always consider while making the traffic signs designing for your roadways. So why basically the brighter signs are required? So we'll look at some trends in transportation that affect sign performance requirements. So there are basically three points which we have considered here, which actually gives you a idea that basically for those reasons the brighter signs are actually required to depend on the roadways. The first one is the aging population. The second is the growing truck fleet. The third one is the viewer headlamps, that is visually optically with headlights. What most of the OEMs are now adopting in their automobiles. So let's start with the first point, which is the aging population, older drivers. So there are studies which shows that the required light need doubles every 13 years after the age of 20. So there are deteriorating vision starting in middle age, increases risk for accidents in low light conditions. So efficient and effective sizes can help giving visibility even from long distances and low light as of their wider angle visibility. So if I talk about the growing truck fleet, larger observation angle for trucks. So in this picture, you can see that I already have discussed earlier in my prior slides that due to the larger observation angle on the trucks, sign will be less bright to the truck drivers in comparison with the sedan drivers. So in this photograph, you can see that in sedan, basically we have kept the camera at 535 mm above headlight, and you can see the visibility of the signboards, to the in how it is reflected to the sedan driver. But in the same fashion, if you put the camera 1270 mm above headlight of the truck, you can see that how truck drivers can see the headlights basically on that while sitting on the truck. So it clearly indicates that larger observation angle will have always the impact on the sign brightness in comparison with the sedan drivers or other low light vehicles on the road. So the third point is visually optical amiable headlights. It actually, due to the subsequent change in the headlamps, where most of the OEMs are using VOA headlights these days, which only focus straight and due to the diminishing light supply from VOA headlights, along with an aging population, requires greater reflection from sign setting to increase the return light to the driver, which is crucial in minimizing eyes of the road time. So that's the reason why the brighter signs are required, which actually provides superior performance at disadvantaged angle and difficult sign positions. So in this particular slide, there are a few principles which I'll talk about. So we have approved signboards in place like shoulder mounted, cantilever, overhead gantries. Due to the increase in height, the amount of available light on the sign reduces, which clearly shows that only 17% light is getting reflected from the cantilever, only 14% is getting reflected from the overhead signs, and 100% from the left hand side of the shoulder mounted signboards, and that is only 22% what we are getting from the median signboards. Right? So it depends. It actually depends that what type of settings you're basically placing on these type of signboards, what is actually approved by the IRC and MORTH in India. So if you'll apply the class A setting in these type of categories, then probably you can have only 8% of light return. And class B, if you apply the class B prismatic setting, you will only have 32% of reflectivity. And once you are applying the class C category, that is the most effective and efficient class, type 11 setting, then definitely you would be having a 58% of reflectivity out of those boards. So definitely, when you are applying the class C categories on these patterns of boards, then definitely you will have high visibility, and even from the long distances, you can see actually what is written on the signboards, and you can probably read and understand the guidance of the signboards, which is actually implemented on the roadways. So this is a picture which actually give you a scenario of the sign viewing. This slide shows that vehicle has to come closer to get the visibility of the signs. Hence, if you provide the high efficient full cube corner sheets, driver will have visibility from long distances as well and will have sufficient time to. So this slide basically tell you about the luminance performance comparison. So as I have said earlier also that class C category is having a wider visibility, wider angle visibility. So and will provide more out of it in comparison with class B and concave view. As the surface is only 28% and 65% in comparison with class C category, and returns only 8% and 32% of the reflectivity respectively. So as you can see, the black line, which is the full cube prismatic, is having a more visibility from the longer distances as well. And in comparison with class A, it has very short distance. I mean, a vehicle driver has to come close to the signboards to see what is actually written on the signboards. If you'll go with the class B category as well, class C has longer distances visibility in comparison with class B as well. So that's the reason brighter signs are required, because there are all the age groups of people are basically traveling on the roadways, and they need more light in related to their age. If the driver is old, they would be needing a more light, and they would be needing a brighter signboards so that they can see even from the long distances, and they can react within the sufficient time. So there is a new technology also which has been approved by Indian Road Congress and Ministry of Road Transport. That is the fluorescent shitting technology, which actually provides improved daytime color and low light performance of signs during the dusk down misty and conditions. And there are fluorescent color which actually increases daytime sign visibility as well. So if I'll talk about why the fluorescent shitting is required, so there are 40% earlier detection if I'll compare with the ordinary signboards. So as you can see on the right hand side, there are ordinary signboards are also placed, and the fluorescent signboards are also placed, which is actually visible, which is actually intense in nature. So one can easily find out what is actually that signboard is trying to say, and what is the guidance plotted on that particular signboard. So they are also if I'll talk about the second property of the fluorescent, that actually allows them to take some light energy that would normally be absorbed, not seen, and re-radiate it as longer. So the fluorescent technology, it is already approved by Indian Road Congress and Ministry of Transport. That would probably suggest that fluorescent color you can always implement in the daylight on the roadways, so that you can have better visibility in the daylight as well and in the night time as well, because it actually helps in dust and misty kind of weather, where the fog and there is a low visibility. Then definitely fluorescent kind of shading will always help you in getting the early visibility of the road. So I'll talk about if somebody has to upgrade it to the type 11, which is the class C category in their estimates, then what are the components of the road traffic sign and what are the cost variable that has to be considered, right? So on the right hand side, you can see a picture of a components of a road traffic sign. So if I'll tell you the cost-effective signs, there are few components like reflective shading, sign backing. There are sign manufacturing labor cost, sign post, sign installation cost. Everything will remain same, and only all the components are similar. Only varies the type of shading. Rest everything remains same, and hence there is not much of variation in the cost of the contract. So everything, when you are taking the consideration, when you're considering the class C category of shitting on your particular signboards, while preparing an estimates for your roadway or any of the road stretches, then definitely your cost variable would not go up, because there is only front fascia of reflective shitting as per the design element you are changing, and every component remains the same, so it will not give you much impact while creating the contract or while creating an estimate. So if I'll summarize, here are some key points to remember. Developed roadway infrastructure is needed for road safety. So effective traffic signs are a key part of this. The second one is the high brightness signs day and night are used to improve roadway safety. They are cost effective. The distances, at which brightness is provided important critical distances. There are truck drivers and older drivers also on the roads, which need signs which provide more brightness, especially at high observation angle. And there are daytime. So there are daytime brightness of signs which can also be increased by using fluorescent reflective shading. So this is the sixth point, which is the most important point, that a daytime, the nighttime reflectivity may be increased by using more efficient prismatic full cube type 11 shading technology, because it has maximum luminance. Type 11 shading returns nearly twice the amount of light as type 4 and type 11 with 100% efficient full cube technology. It actually diminishing, in the case of diminishing light supply from BOA headlamps along with an aging criteria. So aging population requires greater reflection from sign shading to increase the return light to the driver. So that's the reason these high category of shadings or effective shading category is required. So there is third important phenomenon of type 11 is that it provides superior performance at disadvantaged angle and difficult sign positions as well. So it actually helps in creating complex logos easily with more efficient through digital printing capability. And it has a service life of more than 12 years, and type 11 shading will always provide greater reflectivity performance than newly installed type 4 and type 9 shading. So I'll talk about the Orafol company. So Orafol is one of the world's leading manufacturers of innovative cell adhesive graphic films, reflective materials, adhesive tape systems. The International Orafol Group is founded in 1808, and it is headquartered just outside the city gates of Berlin near Frankfurt, and it is almost 213 years old. So this slides basically gives you a brief about the worldwide locations of the Orafols. Right now, Orafol is serving more than 100 countries, and India operation has just started in August 2020 last year. These are the 6 divisions of Orafol. That is the graphics divisions, reflective solutions, adhesive tape systems, advanced polymer films, optic solutions, automotive graphics. So if I talk about the reflective solutions divisions, here are the few product line which we basically caters into this solutions divisions. That is the permanent traffic signs, construction zone materials, vehicle conscripty, car license plates, person safety, safety at sea, industrial marketing tapes. So this is all from our end, and I thanks to the ICAT team for inviting me to present on the reflective shittings criteria and the technical aspects. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable time and presentation. There is one question from one of our attendees. The question is from Mr. Karthik to Mr. Amarendra Singh. How to ensure the quality of signboards and what is the importance of outdoor weathering as per ASTM standard?
So definitely, if I'll talk about the standards of ASTM and outdoor test reports, as my friend Mr. Swatendra Kumar has already explained it in a very detail, that outdoor weathering report is very mandate. I mean, these days, while opting for the classic shitting categories. So in IRC clause 6.7, it is clearly indicated that three years outdoor weather test report is very important these days while opting for the classes of the shittings. But in the same para, if we'll see that if the company is new in this industry and they have come in India for the Indian operation, there is another agenda which is been cleared by the IRC in their clause 6.7, that artificial accelerated report can also be obtained from the Indian laboratory once they are having a test report from the CALCOS or international laboratory as well. So outdoor weathering is very important because shrinkage, flexibility, and everything is very important because as you know that all the shittings have a very greater service life of 10 years and 12 years. So once you're placing it, initially you won't feel any of the damages, you won't feel any of the things happening to your signages, but down the line you will see that there are shrinkage, there are rusting issues basically happening. So that's the reason outdoor testing is actually needed for all the shitting categories from all the OEMs who are basically working in India. So this is.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Now I would request Dr. Madhusudan Joshi, Deputy General Manager ICAT, to kindly summarize the session. We welcome you, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, and I would be very thankful to the speakers from 3M, Mr. Swatendra Kumar and Mr. Amarendra Singh from Murafol. ICAT has been providing the service of photometry testing validation to the industry since 2006 when we started this laboratory, and ever since that time we had been trying to provide value-added services to our customers. However, our interaction with the companies who are providing the road safety products have been not so old, because we started it recently and we started with 3M and Murafol and other competitors of there. But now we are working very closely with the Indian Road Congress and also with Ministry of Transport, and soon we will also have some interaction with the National Highway Authority of India, IHMCL also, where we are trying to provide them our inputs in terms of setting up guidelines for validation of road safety products, especially these retroreflective tapes and other products which are going into automotives, and also to set up and identify some benchmark test houses who only should be authorized to issue compliance to such products. The validation and the certification process should not be diluted in any way, because it is related to road safety. As we know, in our nighttime scenarios, especially when we talk about heavy commercial vehicles, when none of the signaling lamp is working, these retroreflective devices, whether it is a retroreflector, plastic molded reflector, or a retroreflective tape or a paint, these are the only devices or products which help to improve the conspicuity on the roads for the vehicles which are following these vehicles which are normally having no lights, so to say. So these products, as both the speakers have explained it very well, and they have covered the various aspects, various applications of these retroreflective tapes and materials in a very, very detailed manner. I was also going through some articles where we see that these tapes also will find, these retroreflective materials will also find an application in autonomous vehicle driving. There are certain projects which are being done internationally where these tapes will be used, for guiding these autonomous vehicles, especially during night time. So such studies are still on, and as I see that these products will be finding a lot of other applications in times to come. So with this, I would like to thanks once again the speakers for making very elaborate presentations. Also to all the attendees who have taken out time to attend this event, which addresses very, very important and interesting aspect of road safety, which is one of the very, very important agenda points for the Government of India also. And to all the ICAT team and who are forming the part of the organizing team for this event. So I saw that the numbers were 125 at some point of time, so 125 attendees were present. This shows the sensitivity of the people towards this important topic of road safety. So I wish, with the support of industry and also with support from various other organizations, we shall be organizing many such events in future. And thank you once again. And I wish, if anybody has couldn't find an opportunity to raise a question to the speaker, you can still write to us on email, or you can send to the organizers of this event, and we can get the answers from the speakers and send it back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I once again thanks all the speakers of the session for gracing today's webinar with your presence and wonderful presentation. Thank you all delegates and attendees for your attention. I hope you all found today's presentation wonderful and knowledgeable. Stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.